But that's showbiz. Welcome in, everybody, to the biggest hockey podcast in the world. You already know what's going on. The number one hockey podcast, the number one female demographic hockey podcast. We're getting up there with the biggest overall podcast in the world. Jay Swish wearing the Good Wrench t-shirt today. I forgot Good Wrench was a real company. I thought you made that.
Oh, man, this is a Dale Earnhardt special. I got number 3 on the back of this thing. Yeah, I saw this online. Actually, one of my buddies sent it to me. My dipshit buddies from Wisconsin, because Good Wrench was always just like a chain, man. It was like a Jiffy Lube back in the day, and then it kind of got phased out. It was like the Midas Touch, but it was Good Wrench, and I was like, oh my God. And Dale Earnhardt used to be sponsored by Good Wrench. So yeah, this is a number 3 car. Dale Earnhardt. Pretty sick, man.
That is sick. You know what's also sick? That we're not doing this episode from a prison cell. Yesterday, they were not happy. A couple of white boys were on the reservation. I actually forgot that medieval times is technically on the Indian reservation. So they saw a couple honkies out there. They pulled up on us. The police, they were cool, though. The cops were cool about it. They were chill.
Yeah, he was a good Cherokee. What do you think he was?
I don't know. Navajo?
Cherokee and Choctaw.
Your girl's a Navajo,
Ooh,
if you know what I mean. But yeah, they were cool about it. I mean, for a second there, I thought that we were going to have to get, I have a team of very, very Jewish lawyers, and we're talking BMWs, we're talking bagels. They are very Jewish.
Yep.
I was one phone call away, and I know the Indian reservation, you don't mess with them, but you also don't mess with Jewish lawyers.
No, that's a really good, that's a strong one-on-one battle. If you're thinking David Goliath, no, this is 2 absolute thoroughbreds duking it out. But the thing is, the thing about the natives, man, is they actually don't really like white people. I mean, some of them do, but unless you're spending their money on the casino and different things, or donating to, say, their golf courses. I mean, history doesn't lie, but it's like, man, it's 2025. Like, I didn't steal anything.
I didn't do any of that. Not even my grandpa, not even our grandpa. Our grandfathers didn't do anything to the Indians. They did stuff to like the blacks, maybe. But I get it. Pocahontas, they don't like the white people, but they did get an incredible trade-off. They got casinos. So I would take that trade any day, honestly.
You know, a lot of those reservations, like if you're from the res or you move on to the res and you're obviously of native descent, you get like a per diem pack every month. It's like a monthly stipend to spend. So there's this one reservation. It's actually my favorite golf course in Minnesota. It's called Mystic Lake, Rob. Mm-hmm. And their stipend, or their monthly check, is the highest in the country. And I'm pretty sure it's around $20,000 a month.
All the Indian kids are absolutely loaded. Yeah.
$20,000 a month just to get drunk.
But that's what I'm saying, though. That's what, and listen,
like, how good is that?
I understand that Chris Columbus and all those guys, it's incredible. That's so much money for nothing.
It's like being like a hot stay-at-home mom, but you're just a dude that just drinks and gets to play. I mean, they always donate it back because you end up at the casino and you end up drinking and and I'm just generalizing. I'm not saying all of them, but the thing is usually they give a portion of that back. But imagine you just had $20K a month. I mean,
that's what I'm saying, though.
I mean, we can't even get $1,000 a month.
No, we can't get anything. And that's the thing. That's the thing, is that, like, I get it that, like, you know, Robert E. Lee and all those people slaughtered the natives back in the day, but also the Indians today just basically woke up and they're rich.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's kind of like a thing. It's a weird thing. Like, hypothetically, would you care if your ancestors got slaughtered if today you wake up and you're getting $20K a month for no reason? You're riding around a Rolls Royce. You get to smoke, drink, gamble, and fuck without any consequences. I might make that trade-off. I don't know.
Well, because it's like you didn't know your ancestors.
No, like, ancestors are ancestors, dude.
Like, you're so far removed from all of that.
They don't care about you.
No, like they don't know who you are. Like, they can see your chin from native heaven, but it's like you haven't met them yet.
Yeah, but it is a little bit different, where I feel like they value their ancestors more than the whites. Because me, like,
I don't know, man.
I have, like, even people directly one generation above me that couldn't give a shit less about me.
Right.
So it's hard for me to say I would care about my ancestors. Like, I guess I care in theory, but at the end of the day, like, we don't even know each other's chins. Like, I'm just a dude.
Yeah, and I think the hard thing too is it's really hard to trace back who your actual ancestors are. And this is a hockey show, and this is not 23andMe an ad or anything like that. We have only a couple sponsors. But the thing is, Rob, is it's hard to trace back who your actual ancestors would be in a native village because everybody was fucking.
Everyone was whacking. It's like Genghis Khan.
Well, it's like the biggest grizzly bear in the wild or in that portion of the world. So say that the chief or the most masculine guy, like he was dipping his wrench inside everything.
Imagine being chief of the village.
So it's like,
Oh,
your daddy is like, probably one dude, and he's just just filling up chicks.
life was so simple back then. You have the long hut, your moccasins. Like you go down to the lake, you go fishing, and like the chicks pick the grapes and the berries off the trees, and
Imagine
you have a powwow, and you're living in a teepee.
I was just to say, imagine losing your virginity in a teepee,
just hitting it from the back so hard in
then
a
you
teepee.
Then you go stargaze and listen to the coyotes. Damn,
it wouldn't be that bad, dude.
No,
like being an Indian would be kind of sick until the Mayflower shows up and they pull up on your ass. And you're like, oh shit!
It's so gay. The kids these days that say they like can't sleep and they need these soundboards or these different sound things. Man, imagine living in a teepee, dog. You're listening to fucking bears, hyenas, wolves. Like, well, that shit will set you off.
These days, though, kids are addicted to iPads, so now they need like white noise to sleep.
Yeah.
Like, dude, have you ever had a chick? What we never talk about pussy on this. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, but what's black noise? There's white noise. Like,
why can't people? Cop sirens.
Well,
that might be racist, but anyway, like,
yeah, it is.
I don't know how we're gonna recover that with Bob Stauffer coming on here. I'm saying
that was a good one. Yeah.
But this is a hockey show. But think about how privileged we are today. Like these iPad babies, they need white noise to fall asleep. They need the fan on. They need all this fucking shit. They need certain type of pillowcases. They need crystals by the bed. Back in the day, the Indians just had like the sounds of wolves.
Yeah.
The wind, and you still might get attacked by like Sasquatch or something. Do you believe in Sasquatch?
I was just a little bit. Black noise could be gunshots too. Yeah, I believe in Sasquatch, man. I think he's out there. Like the thing about all those creatures and make believe and mysterious things out there, like where there's smoke, there's fire. I think Sasquatch is similar like aliens.
Okay.
So I don't know if Sasquatch is actually like this half man, half animal like character or stature, but it's probably just some dude from northern Alberta that like made his way down and like dresses like that. You know what I mean? Like they went to Cabela's and got like the camouflage leaves and like he got the whole kit. And then somebody saw him one day, maybe with some face paint on, grew his hair out, hairy all over the place. Like it's not far off. Like the people are fucking crazy, man. Like maybe he lives in Louisiana or maybe he's in the backwoods of Montana. Someone's seen a Sasquatch before. And you know what? Crazy to say, I think there's probably more than one of those guys out there.
I think a Sasquatch was just like a group of dudes from Alberta were in the woods and they were hunting, right?
Exactly.
And then they saw a Persian guy.
Yep.
And they were like, holy shit, what the fuck is that? Because the Persian guys are just covered in hair and gold chains and shit. And they're probably like, what is that? But I think aliens are in the ocean. I think I've talked about this before. This is a hockey show, but I'm convinced that land is just like not the real world. The real world is the ocean. Because the world is 75% ocean or something like that. Yeah. So like that's the real world. This is like we're just a byproduct. Yeah, we're just like on the side kind of thing.
Side pieces. Yeah, we're the side piece of this galaxy, but then you got to argue what is space.
Oh man, I forgot about space.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but space is different though. Like we're talking about the Earth.
Yeah, but I mean,
space is
within this galaxy. Like space is still there.
Space goes on forever,
right? Like space is just not a place in Miami where there's a bunch of white chicks doing Molly.
During a bunch of 44-year-olds lying about their age.
Yeah, a bunch of 34-year-old girls that are just literally in crisis mode. Yeah, then they go to Music Week. Yeah, I don't know, man.
Space is crazy.
The club or space?
No, like outer space.
Yeah.
It just never ends and you don't know what's out there.
So that would scare me more than the ocean. And I'm terrified of the ocean. Like I don't want to go past the pier ever. Like otherwise I start getting seasick. But space would scare me more. Like, imagine
I'm
being
back
those
and forth
guys that
on
were
that.
just like up in the moon chilling. Weren't they stuck up there?
Yeah, but
Or
that's
were they
because
actually?
The Biden administration was like too lazy to bring him back though. That I'm so are you afraid of space or are you afraid of your aircraft having an issue in space?
I
That's
was,
two way different things.
well, I would say both. I mean, that's like being in the ocean and being asked if you're scared of being in the ocean or if you're scared of the boat you're in. I'm scared of both.
I'm scared of what's below you in the ocean.
Yeah.
There's so much shit there. There's a lot going on. There's like sharks, there's manta rays, there's Cuban guys floating on tires trying to get to the country, which I think is like if you're a non-criminal, this is a hockey show, not a political show about immigration, but if you're not a criminal, like let them in. Come
Yeah.
on, dude.
We should do that. We should like, because I'm pretty sure that like there's that race from Havana to Miami. Like, we should grab like a Goodyear tire and float. That'd be a great content
Remember that
piece.
kid did that back in the day?
Yeah.
Bro, that motherfucking kid.
Danny Amante?
Yeah, bro. No, he was a little league baseball player.
Yeah.
You're thinking about, yeah, they lied about his age. He was throwing gas. I remember watching that.
He was Cuban, no? Or Mexican or Puerto
I
Rican?
think he was Puerto Rican.
Yeah.
I mean, he was a little leaguer throwing 91 miles an hour, and nobody thought twice about it. And
Yeah.
eventually they're like, yo, this guy is 27. Like, he works for Amazon, and he's in the Little League World Series. What is going on?
Yeah, he was like 19 years old. We should go to Cuba, man.
Cuba. Remember that kid, though, that floated over from Cuba, and then they, like, sent his ass back? It's like,
Yeah.
dude, he made it all this way? Let the boy stay. Like,
Did they at least bring him back in a boat, or did they make him float back?
No,
They didn't take him to like Target and just get him a new raft.
No, they sent him
Okay.
back because, like, his dad, there was an issue with his dad. Like, the dad wanted him back in Cuba or something, but the mom was like, let him stay.
Yeah.
Like, give him a job at a cafe in Miami Beach or something. Like, the guy just floated on a fucking tire. Should be dead.
It's crazy because you'll see people floating over in like a pizza box, and like, how is that thing not damp?
Yeah, how is that not?
Yeah,
That's like,
how the fuck did you make it with a cardboard box, bro?
Remember that prison in San Francisco, Alcatraz?
Yeah.
Like, dudes
Alcatraz, yeah.
Dudes would escape prison.
Yeah.
And they would swim, which is, by the way, one of the most great white shark infested areas in the country.
It is.
Horrifying. Two things I'm scared of: overstaying my welcome and sharks. And dudes would get across to San Francisco through that channel. Like, that is, people underestimate the ocean. They don't understand how impressive that is.
I've been to that prison. Not like,
what?
physically.
You did the tour?
Yeah, I did the tour.
Really?
Yeah,
was it cool, or how was it?
Oh, it was fucking. It's fucked. Those
Is it?
cells are so small. They're all single cells, like just like literally like a pizza box.
Bro, imagine being in prison. We almost went to prison yesterday.
I know.
Alcatraz is so gnarly though, because you would be in prison and then you have to, if you escape it, they built a life raft with raincoats, which makes no sense. I don't understand how all these murderers are so good at engineering, but then you float across to San Francisco and you end up at like the gayest drag brunch of all time. So what a weird life if you're escaping prison and all of a sudden you end up in San Fran and just surrounded by the libs. You're probably like, I might go back to prison. This is so gay.
Yeah, the thing is they used to let those guys, like, they would catch them trying to swim and they would just let them try to ride it out because they knew they weren't going to make it.
Yeah, they
did. Like, they knew they were going to die.
Oh, dude, that's so gnarly. Someone said space is not real. That's crazy. That is some, like, who's like a conspiracy? That's like some Aaron Rodgers shit right there.
Yeah, do you see him too, man? He looks. I saw him on Pat McAfee the other day. I love how Aaron Rodgers. It says, like, when they bring him on Pat McAfee, it says 4-time MVP, Super Bowl champion, ayahuasca enthusiast.
They say that?
Yeah.
Non-vaxxed.
Yeah, non-vax.
Which is cool now. It was really, they hated when you weren't vaxxed back in the day.
Yeah. Now I saw Utah passed a bill that they're now giving away, or you have an option if you want or need blood, non-vaxxed blood. I like that.
I could do that. I'm not vaxxed.
Yeah, so you could. I think you could go up to Utah. Man, you could walk out of Utah a millionaire. You convert to being a Mormon, and you give blood that's non-vaxxed. I think you probably walk out with 6 figures.
I'm not. I've donated blood too. I've donated blood. I'm good at it. Like, I actually am really good at it. I have good blood. I didn't get vaxxed. I've said this on the thing. I don't have to explain myself. I don't care. I went to this incredible doctor in New York that I should not have been to. I've said this before. And he's like, how old are you? I tell him. And he's like, do you have any, like, he went down a checklist of bullshit.
Yeah.
And he goes, are you vaccinated? And I go, no, like, I'm thinking about getting it, or I don't know, like, you know, I don't know what's going on. And he looked at me dead in the face and he goes, you don't need that fucking shit. Or he didn't say fuck, but he goes, you don't need that shit.
Smart.
And then he explained to me, like, I sat there and listened to this, like, insanely educated doctor tell me why I don't need it. He's like, you can get it if you want. So I walked out of the doctor's office. And by the way, I was there for something completely different. Like my knee hurt.
Yeah.
And he was like, and then I just never got it. So I was basically like the bad boy of podcasting for like 3 years because I wasn't back. So now it's like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Good thing you were here too. I mean, you never know. Like if you were in New York City, they had a curfew, like they were locking you up.
I was actually in New York when I saw the doctor. When I got off the plane, you had to like fill out a sheet that said like, are you vaxxed or
right,
like whatever.
Gauge,
Someone in the chat just goes, I'm built like a lib. No, I'm not. What?
Built like a lib.
That's kind of funny though.
That is funny.
But yeah, dude, maybe I will go to Utah and donate some blood.
That's the thing, because if you convert to a Ferta Day Saint, I think it's right off the bat, it's 200,000.
Bro, what did you just say?
Yeah, I think
they pay you to convert.
Yeah,
I'll convert right now.
You heard it here first. But yeah, at Hockey Night in Scottsdale, this is a hockey show. But yeah, man, I think you get 200K, and then I think with that premium blood, I mean, you know, because that double vaxxed or triple vaxxed, that Fauci blood's like that 87 unleaded, and then you got like the one-time vax, a Johnson and Johnson or a Moderna, that's like that 89. Man, you got that 93 premium.
Yeah,
You're only putting that in the top dog foreign sleds. Like,
yeah,
that's some good shit. So I think that would be, you know, per quart or however they measure blood per gallon. Like you're looking at like some really high quality blood. Especially if you're like if you're like a weird type too, where people don't have it, like type A or something, you know, like Alcoholic Anonymous. Like,
I don't know what I am.
You know, damn.
I might be something good though, and like everyone thinks I'm a cokehead and all that, but my blood, and especially I haven't been boozing as much. Like I'll go Chinese mode probably this weekend, probably tonight.
Yeah,
but maybe it depends. But depends how our tennis game goes. Like if you kick my ass in tennis and I get mad, like I might have a couple of drinks. But I feel like my blood is actually pretty good. Like I don't want to brag, but
good blood.
I'm gonna look into it. I didn't know the Latter-day Fertas pay people to join their.
Well, yeah, that's how they originally started, right? And then they, you know, because you could get people to join listen,
money talks, baby.
Money's everything. Money's the biggest currency, and then you parlay that into this church cult, and then obviously the option of having multiple wives and being able to be a predator. You know, there's a lot of options if you want to, you know. So I mean, hockey show at the end of the day here, folks.
Yeah, we are a hockey show. We have Bobby Stauffer coming on the program here, but can we just, before we bring him on, I got to email him in a second. Yeah. Also hilarious that I have his email now. I'm gonna sign him up for a bunch of I'm gonna sign him up for the Army.
Yeah, we should sign him up for Playgirl magazine.
Just a ton of like ridiculously gay porn.
Yeah, just like a dude spread his butt cheeks in a centerfold.
Yeah, like super gay. Not even like bi. Just like gay.
Just like dudes touching horn. Dude,
Bob, we're not gonna do anything.
Speaking of gay, dude, some dude sent me a picture, not even on DM, of his wrench.
Come on, bro.
And it had it covered, but like I opened it up and I opened up my notifications on my tweets. It's like, dude, what are you doing?
What? That's like assault.
Well, I had to block him, and I mean, like, come on, man.
Why is he doing that?
What are people doing out there? Like, bro, you're sending hose pics on Twitter to random dudes that are straight. Come on, man,
dude. That's like
come on,
that's like unfathomable.
Like we like our fans, but don't be sending dick pics. Come on, man.
I had a kid.
Like, what the fuck?
I had a kid send me a picture that was actually pretty funny, and he was standing on the top of a toilet, pissing into it, like backwards, like he was standing on the backside. Yeah, but the tip of his wrench was in the photo.
Like, dude,
and I know you're hammered, but like, dude, you got to get your penis off my phone screen. Like, I'm not trying to see that. I think it's funny that you're doing that, as long as you're getting it in the toilet. I don't like that whole trend where kids were pissing all over the bathroom. Remember that trend? It's just like, bro, someone's got to clean that. Like, I've been in that situation when I worked at a coffee shop in New York, and I was in charge of the bathrooms and stuff like that. Not all the time, but sometimes.
Yeah,
you go in there and there's piss everywhere. It's like, come on, dude. Like.
And then you get the one ply all over the place too. Like you pissed on the toilet paper that you made like a little bit of a cocoon over the toilet seat because you thought you were gonna have to take a shit, then you pissed over. It's like, come on, man. Like some little poor Mexican lady's gonna have to clean that up, or some dude that's living in a halfway house has got to come in here and soak up all that piss filled with Michelob Ultra. Like, ugh.
Look at this. I gotta show you this. So some kid DM me, right? I'm not gonna like read the message. I don't want this kid. He probably is a fan of the show. It was just like a big compliment. And I get a lot of hate. So whenever I catch a DM that's positive, I'll respond and be like, hey, bro, I appreciate the love. Yada,
Yeah.
yada, yada. So I did. I sent it back and then he kept messaging me. And then he sends me this. And I opened this up. It's like, and then he's still going, right?
Yeah.
But like I
not-
opened up this photo, which is pretty much a naked girl
Yep.
in public. And I was like, dude, why are you taking advantage of the fact that I DM'd you back? I said, thank you for the compliment. Like, I appreciate that you're a fan of the show and all that. And then like you're sending me naked pictures in public. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to see all this. Hold on. I got to invite Bob in.
No.
Here.
Yeah. I just let Bob know we're going to bring him on.
Yeah. But yeah, yesterday, bro, fuck, I guess we could talk a little bit about it after, Bob, about what happened with our medieval times.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
All right. Hold on.
Well, I mean, this is a hockey show at the end of the day, so let's get Staff on here.
Kind of sick that he's joining us. I got to tell him something too. Where the fuck is it? Jesus. All right. Here we go. Can you do the sponsors while I'm typing?
Yeah, we, over here at Hockey Night in Scottsdale, it's a multi-million-dollar non-for-profit charity organization over here, folks. Everything's a write-off. Everything that Uncle Sam tries to take from us, he can't, because Hockey Night in Scottsdale is the biggest non-for-profit podcast in the entire fucking world.
Yeah,
we are brought to you by Emmy Squared Pizza. Emmy Squared is the neighborhood joint you love to just enjoy some cocktails. They got burgers and they got, award-winning Detroit-style pizza available in about 13 fucking states. If you can't get to one locally, go into goldbelly.com. Use promo code CHIN. You can order Emmy Squared Pizza right there. It ships from anywhere across North America. You can order it. It's great. I love the pepperoni, obviously. Just keep it simple. Keep it up the wall. And if you're hungover, you're drunk, it's a really nice wheel to have just in your freezer, in the deep freezer, because you can throw it in. It's better than a Tombstone. It's better than Jack's, but it is really good. So in saying that, we are also brought to you by Betalytics. Betalytics is not your local bookie. It's not Jose or...
We don't have that anymore.
We don't have, Betalytics canceled.
No, they didn't cancel. They just didn't renew yet.
Betalytics is not brought to you by Hockey Night Scottsdale, but Men's League Sweaters is. Men's League Sweaters is a great place to go get your men's league. All you beer league guys that take hockey way too seriously, they can make you a custom jersey, logos to help with that, the design team. And without further ado, folks, please welcome to the fucking stage the heartbeat of Northern Alberta, a historian in his own right, a guy that can paint a Picasso-like picture with words, none other than Edmonton's finest, Bob Stauffer. Bob, how we doing, my friend? Thanks for joining the boys over here at Hockey Night in Scottsdale. We really do appreciate it. It is Friday morning. What's up, fella?
You got somebody other than me on the show there? I mean, you're talking about a guy that can paint the picture. That's probably Jack or Cam, hockey historian. All right, I might do okay on the hockey historian front. So, look, it's a privilege to do your show. You'd be amazed. You put it out there on Twitter. You'd be amazed who reached out to me and said, "Hey, you're going on this show. So you guys got a massive following. You know that. Let's have some fun."
Fucking right.
Yeah, Bob, thank you for joining. And by the way, I'm really surprised that you don't have a restraining order against me. I went through a phase where I was tweeting pictures of you getting on the plane and on the broadcast. And I want you to know that a lot of people think that I was poking fun. I only make fun of two players, Jacob Trouba, or two people, Trouba and Seguin. But for you, your presence in front of the camera, the aura you're giving off, I'm a big fan of you. I'm a big fan of your work. So I just wanted to get that off my chest, that I was not making fun of you when I tweet photos of you. I'm a big fan.
Well, if I can get the 4 chins off my chest, we'd have a good start. So there you go. Because those other two men are quite handsome, as you know. So I was once handsome. I'm twice both of. If you added the cumulative age of your two ages, you'd be at my age now. So I look really good for a guy who's 67. The problem is I'm 59. So.
And Bob, speaking of chins, some of my favorite just work you do is when the Edmonton Oilers play a back-to-back game, or they're, need to really find a must-win situation, and you always fire out a tweet. And it's been over the last few years, especially us, we'd always talk about the chin, finding the chin. But some of your best work, at least I love, is when you say the Edmonton Oilers showed a good chin on a back-to-back. Like, what is that term you use? Is it just saying like they stood in there, they took it, they threw? Like, what?
Well,
talk me through that.
here's the deal. The Oilers get a lot of air. Okay. They have the two most dynamic offensive players on the planet. They got Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. And since Connor's coming to the league, they're the top two scoring players. Canadian market's quite competitive with one another. Like, I'm a guy who wants the Flames and the Canucks in the playoffs. I want, in a perfect world, Edmonton comes in first and Calgary and Vancouver come in second and third in the Pacific. And in the East, I'd love, I'm loving what we're seeing this year, right? Like the three Canadian teams in the Eastern Conference making the playoffs. That's awesome. But what comes with the Oilers, and I really noticed it since Edmonton won the lottery, people were sick of watching the Oilers win the lottery. I was on a Toronto show, and they're like, it's disgraceful that you guys get McDavid. And I'm like, dude, you're like the guy that sits there and gets mad at somebody at a casino when they're sitting there playing the one-armed bandit, and the guy wins, a couple, whatever they call those things, payouts or whatever, back-to-back. You're the guy that gets upset about it. He goes, well, the problem is you guys won like 4 lotteries, even though the Oilers actually only won 2. But where I'm going with this is when you have a McDavid, when you have a Draisaitl, there's a different degree of, I guess, attention and focus that's given. And sometimes there's situations where people need to understand the teams, and I'm in year 17 doing the Oilers. Travel is not easy. It's not an excuse. It's way better than it used to be in the old days. Obviously, you're on team charters, but back-to-back games are hard. And during the course of the season, you're going to have games where you got your backup goaltender in there. Maybe you got a team going through a little bit of illness. I'll give you an illustration. The Oilers played the final 14 games of the season where they did not have both Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl in the lineup, okay? And it killed their power play. For 5 consecutive seasons, Edmonton was the first, last year ended up being the first team in NHL history to have 5 straight years over 25% on the power play. And through the first 68 games this year, I just looked it up here, the Oilers were at, where is it? The Oilers were at 25.6% and 6th in the league through the first 68 games of the year. Then they didn't have Connor and Leon both playing in the final 14 games. They ended up 28th in the power play in those final 14 games and dropped below 24%. So there's the illustration. You're looking, and I want to see the team compete in the second and back-to-backs and find ways to get points. You don't necessarily have to win. And sometimes you're playing really good teams in the second of a back-to-back. Maybe they've had a day in between a game or whatever, and you got to find a way to stay in the fight and stay in the battle. And that's really what showing a good chin is. You got to be able to take a couple punches and absorb some blows. So if that long-winded answer, there might be a couple of those in this segment, but if that long-winded answer suffice, please work with it.
No, that's why we have you here, man. We love hearing from you. And even I thought they showed a tough chin last year, a strong granite chin, kind of built like a fire hydrant when they went down 3-0, sorry. And they came all the way back, and I really thought they were going to do it, man. I thought they had a lot of momentum, but Florida, tough team. They're going to be a tough team again. But yeah, what do you have to say about the goaltending? That's always been a hot topic in Edmonton too. And what do you have to say about the people that are constantly on the goaltending?
Well, I'm not necessarily the most patient guy with goaltenders myself. I'll be honest with you. I want my goalies stopping the puck and not saying much and never showing up their teammates. Okay. So the Oilers have 2 guys that don't show up their teammates. They don't sit there and stare down the defense after an egregious giveaway or look at the team out in front of them and say, what the hell was that, when somebody blows an assignment or cheats up the ice and it ends up on a 3-on-1 or something. The Oilers have, the numbers would suggest, I think Edmonton most of the year was middle of the pack in save percentage, right? And what I would say is history has shown us that goalies evolve over time and get better with age. Usually forwards need to be making an impact at, 22, 23. Defensemen, and Jordan can speak to this, but you're often talking 300 games, right? And if a guy doesn't really get 300 games, maybe you never know what a guy could have been. But I think goalies, and I just think of Dwayne Rolson, like he became a good goalie in his early 30s. It took him a long time. Stuart Skinner's still only 26 years of age. He's sort of been accelerated along the way because the Oilers missed on Jack Campbell. Good guy, but it didn't pan out for Jack. And I still think that Stuart's got a lot of runway. So I think the Oilers' goaltending is fine. I think the defensive structure and process is important. I'm a big believer in zone defense, which Chris Knobloch coaches. Monty coaches zone D. Cassidy coaches zone D. And I think that eases up the workload because when you do finally get puck possession, everybody knows where they're supposed to be, and it gives you more outlets, more options for outlets as well. So I think their goal, and Stuart does have, something to show here. He's come back. He got the starts against Winnipeg and San Jose. The Oilers only gave up 37 shots in those 2 games. And people will say, well, the Jets sat 5 or 6 regulars. Well, the Oilers have been playing without 5 or 6 regulars for the last 6 weeks. So comes with the territory. So fair question. You look at the goaltending, even last year, guys, the Oilers survived the playoff series with the lowest save percentage of a winning goaltender in NHL history against Vancouver, right? Skinner was at .833 in that series, and everybody wrote Skinner off head-to-head against Jake Ottinger in Dallas, and Skinner put up a .922 against the Stars and outplayed Ottinger in that series and stole Game 6 at Edmonton. Probably even stole Game 1, which went into double overtime. In Dallas as well, but for sure he was, the first star in Game 6 and helped the Oilers win the series. And the last 4 games against Florida in the Stanley Cup final, he gave up 7 goals against, and that was part of the reason why Edmonton came back.
Bob, I wanted to ask you, just with all of the most recent injuries and even 97 being banged up, would you say, and is it fair to say that this might be Leon Draisaitl's most impressive 50-goal campaign? I mean, just what he's done this year, the only 50-goal scorer in the entire National Hockey League. Man, I still think he's severely underrated, and it's crazy to say that. I mean, obviously maybe not in your neck of the woods, but definitely down here. It's like, people that watch hockey may not even, really know who Leon Draisaitl is because he's still shadowed a little bit. Fuck, he's a good player, man. It's just unbelievable how good he's used that old spatula stick too, that long blade. I just love watching him play.
Well, the Oilers have the best player on the planet, and I would suggest to you they have the most advanced player to ever live. We've never seen a guy this fast, this skilled in terms of Connor McDavid. But this year, the Oilers had the best player in the league, and it wasn't Connor McDavid. It was Leon Draisaitl. I mean, he played the majority of the season with Vasily Podkolzin and Victor Arvidsson. And Victor has struggled to find his game here at Edmonton, and he'd be the first to tell you that. And Podkolzin is what Podkolzin is. He's a hardworking, good puck retrieval forward that fronts pucks and, can be a part of a third penalty killing unit, but he's not an elite offensive player. And Draisaitl, when Draisaitl went out of the lineup with 7 games left in the regular season, he was leading the league in goals. He was leading the league in even strength goals. He was leading the league in power play goals, and he was leading the league in game winning goals and overtime goals. And he, so it's not a surprise to us. He was coached by Corey Clouston with the Prince Albert Raiders, and I remember talking to Corey. Prince Albert played Edmonton back in the 2014 Western Hockey League playoffs. The Oil Kings that year were the last team to win the Memorial Cup out of the West. So Leon didn't have much of a chance in that series with PA. And I asked him, I said, how good is Leon going to be? And he said he's going to be way better than everybody thinks. He's got a way higher ceiling. He works his ass off in practice. He can shoot the puck a ton. We need him to shoot more. He's got great vision. We just got an okay supporting cast around him. Draisaitl still at 100 points that season. I was so stoked, with all due respect to Sam Reinhart, who's a great player, when Tim Murray and Buffalo took Reinhart, and that left the Oilers of the option of Draisaitl and Sam Bennett at 3. I mean, I was sitting there fist pumping underneath. We were, when you're at the draft and your team drafts in the top 6, your radio location is way down low, right? Because they usually bring the top picks over. And I was just super happy because I believe Draisaitl had a chance to be really good. And even I did not believe that he would turn out to be as good as he's been. So the fact that not everybody down there in Scottsdale knows who he is, I'm not surprised. But I can tell you, everybody in oil country knows this guy is a first ballot Hall of Fame player. He's a hell of a player. And my guess is he'll end up winning his second Hart Trophy this year.
Yeah, kind of reminds me of when Crosby and Malkin, and everyone knew Malkin was a great player. When Crosby would be out of the lineup, especially those like 2 years when he's dealing with those concussion issues, and Malkin stepped up and still was a 100-point player without Crosby, people are just like, whoa, like this guy is incredible. Always was incredible, but it was more magnified when Crosby was out of the lineup. So, yeah, Draisaitl, super fun to watch. Can't wait to see what they do.
Can I add to that? Just on
Yeah,
what
yeah.
All right, so Connor missed 15 games this year. The Oilers went 8-7 in those games. Leon played 9 of those 15 games. Okay, in those 9 games, the Oilers went 7-2. Draisaitl had 8 goals, 16 points, was +6. And the 2 losses, one was in the second of a back-to-back against New Jersey, and the Oilers outshot them 32-14. They're actually in Calgary the night before and had to fly back and play Jersey. They're all over Jersey. They just couldn't score. And the second loss was against Washington in a 3-2 game, and the Oilers outshot the Capitals in that game 31-16. So, Draisaitl delivered it. Like, they won the other 7 games, right? In the 6 games that Edmonton didn't have McDavid and Draisaitl, they went 1-5, and 2 of those games were against the Kings. And that was the difference. That was the difference in the year. The Kings finished 4 points ahead of Edmonton in the standings, and those 2 games turned out to be the difference between LA getting home ice and Edmonton getting home ice in the opening round.
And Bob, it's part 4 this year between this series with the LA Kings and the Edmonton Oilers. And, it seems like it's the same song and dance, but for whatever reason, probably, just barring injury and the guys that the Oilers have had out recently, it seems like all the hashtag experts are leaning towards LA. And I just think this year, Edmonton seems like they're an underdog. I don't believe they are. I think they're going to get it done ultimately against LA, just with the 2 best players in the world. But I love what McDavid said when he came out and said, no, we're fine. What do you mean about injuries? We're all good. We're ready to play. So where are the Edmonton Oilers in terms of being healthy? Obviously, Ekholm's going to be out, but is a guy like Evander Kane going to be inserted into this series at all? Will we see him?
Yes. We'll have a better idea in about 2.5 hours because the team practices at noon Pacific today. I'm not surprised that the experts, are the early prognostications. LA's a better team. They're better in goal because they got Darcy Kemper. Let's start there. He's a better goaltender than any other goalies they've had over the 3 previous years. And then the ongoing maturation and development of Quinton Byfield. They moved him to center. They have strength. Like, to me, if you have strength down the middle at center and strength on D, and obviously goaltending is a must. Like, weren't you part of St. Louis back in 1819 at some point during that year? There was a point in December when the Blues came into Edmonton. Pete Chiarelli was still the GM of the Oilers. Doug's, he's an involved and engaged GM. We know that. And there were rumors that the Oilers were trying to get Jay Bouwmeester and Pat Maroon off of St. Louis. And I love Jay Bouwmeester. Like, he's one of the best defenseman out of the West in the last 25 years. And I guess now 27 or 28 years because he was playing, was a 2nd or 3rd overall pick back in, that would have been 2002. So, but, yes, I had to think about that for a sec. I'm so old. Here's one for you. I'm so old I can remember when Dan Bouwmeester brought Jay out to the Golden Bears alumni skates at the U of A. And I used to do the play-by-play. And I see this guy bombing around the ice, probably maybe about 1994. So Jay would have been. Anyways, the kid had a cage on, and it's the alumni skate. Usually, the guys that were the scratches for the Golden Bears would go out skate the alumni. And I'm like, who the hell was that defenseman that's flying around the ice? Like, who is that?
Yeah,
they're like, that's Dan Bouwmeester's kid, and I'm like, well, how old is he? Is he like 17, 18? They're like, no, he's 11. And I'm like, he's going to be pretty, because he was an unreal skater, right? It was
jersey flapping in the wind.
Oh man, he was so. But I bring this up just in terms of nobody expected St. Louis during that year in 18-19, and then they just caught lightning in the bottle and away they went. But you had O'Reilly at center, and you had Larry Robinson come in, and he put I believe Bouwmeester and Parayko together, and he used to workload a bit on Pietrangelo defensively. And strength down, if you have strength down the spine, you can compete, and that's why LA is better this year. They're better in goal, and they've graduated some of their development type defensemen internally in their own organization. And then they moved Byfield to center so they can roll with Kopitar, Byfield, and Deneau at center. And that's going to make him a tough out. That said, Edmonton has played way better against Los Angeles in the playoffs than they have in the regular season. Certainly over the last 3 years. Like, it's not even close. And, here's a stat for you. In the last 3 playoff years, the Oilers have won the second most games. This is not just against LA, but overall in the league. And the Oilers have been at 32.3% on the power play in the playoffs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and against LA in the 3 playoff series, the Oilers are at 45.5% in the last 3 years.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought it was like 50%.
That's insane.
Right. And last season, the Kings had the second best penalty killing in the NHL. Okay. They dramatically improved their PK, and the Oilers scored 9 power play goals in 5 games against LA. So I would say to you, the special teams are going to be important, and Edmonton's going to have, back to your injury update, they will have their entire first unit back together. So Hyman, McDavid, and Draisaitl did not play, this past Monday night in Edmonton against LA. Well, Connor played Wednesday against San Jose. I'm going to 100% guarantee you that Draisaitl and Hyman are in the lineup on Monday. As for Evander Kane, he will return at some point during the series. That's a given. At some point, fairly early, second, third game, something like that, he's coming back in. That's my guess. He's skating much more freer than he was last year. He was completely compromised as the playoffs went on. By the time the Oilers played Dallas, he was really struggling. And then Frederick, at some point, will return as well. And that's going to change the dynamics of their forward units because they got a smaller set of forwards, but they had those 2 guys, and it's a different dimension. And Kane has played very well against Los Angeles in all 3 playoff series the last 3 years.
Yeah, I totally agree. And especially Frederick adds such a different dynamic and just 2 heavier bodies that can play up and down the wall and bang some defensemen. No Diddy on that. But I wanted to ask you, now I'm a guy with curly hair, Stauf. I've been asked if, I have a little African-American in me. Is that a perm, this and that? So I wanted to ask you, because you work closely with the guy, does Gene Principe, what does he put in his hair? Is that grass-fed butter? Is that a little bit of oil and lubrication, or what is that? Coconut oil?
I'm not quite sure. Gene is beloved. The fans in Edmonton put up with me, but Gene is beloved. I will say that he's more well liked on the north side of Edmonton, and I might be more well liked on the south side of Edmonton. So yeah. I don't know. I don't know what he does with his hair. I wish I was as thin as he was. That's we're roughly of the same vintage. He obviously doesn't use color. Clearly, I do. Cover 5 once a month. It's amazing. It helps keep a man at least think he's a little bit younger. Now, very easy guy to work with. The whole crew, like Louis I'm in my 17th season. Louis in his 17th season. Jack Michaels is in his 15th season. Gene's in his 19th season, and then we got Cam Moon, who's in his 5th year. Cam played in the Western League. He was a goalie, and he's he did 22 years in Red Deer, so he certainly knows how. And I think as broadcasters, you got to be able to read your team and understand that you're privileged to be on the plane with them. You recognize the players of the show. You recognize it's a players' league. Like, who runs the Edmonton Oilers? Like, Daryl Cates owns the team, but it's Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. They drive the team, and they drive other aspects on and off the ice for the team and set the standard in terms of the work rate and practice. And we're along for the ride. So there are times where you have to read the situation. We have a little bit of fun. We play a little bit of trivia once in a while with the players. And I have a couple, Jordan, one of my favorites is Troy Stetcher, because he punches above his weight class. He gives you everything he's got. We also had Drake Caggiula, who was part of your teams at North Dakota. And I actually had a trivia question for you today, and see if you can pull this.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Here we go.
So we mentioned Bouwmeester playing with you with the Blues, obviously a great D-man. We mentioned Stetch and Caggiula. When you played over in Finland, who'd you play for in Finland again?
Played for IFK Helsinki, and Ville Peltonen was the coach, former national leaguer of 300-odd games.
You had a guy who had a cup of coffee with the Edmonton Oilers on your defense. He played his only NHL game for Edmonton. And it was during what was referred to as the Decade of Darkness. I can even tell you where he played the game. He played the game in Chicago, which tough matchup. But he was a Swedish defenseman that played with you over in Finland. So now I'm giving
Johan Motin, number 57, right shot defenseman, now playing, I think, in the Swedish second league. Is
he still playing? He's got to be like 35 years of age. So.
Yeah, he's a 1989 born, I believe. Yep. So 35, 36 years old. Yeah, not a bad European defenseman by all accounts. Yeah, he was Bob, you know what he was? He was serviceable and a great teammate.
Yeah, well, some would say that I'm serviceable, but maybe not a great teammate as a broadcaster. So he was drafted by Stu McGregor. Stu McGregor was my midget AA coach in Edmonton with the Southside Athletic Club. And our center that year, I was on the right wing and had a decent year offensively, a lot of penalty minutes, but my center was Guy Godowski, the head coach at Penn State. So Guy was a little guy his first year at midgets, and I babysat him a little, and then he progressed and went on and played at Colorado College, and then obviously has gone from the last, his previous stint before Penn State was Princeton. I don't think Guy could have gotten into Princeton, but he coached at Princeton, so he was a decent student academically. But there you go. There's your useless, superfluous Stauffer stat. Nice pull on the Johan Motin.
I love it. And right now, you guys, what are you in Man Jose right now, practicing for the next few days, and then heading down to the
LA? We're here today, and then we're gonna fly, I think, tomorrow into Los Angeles. Monday night start in the series. It's gonna. I mean, what do you guys think? What do you think of the matchup?
Yeah, the one thing that concerns me is like, man, it's their fourth crack at it. Like, are they gonna solve the puzzle? But then the other thing is like, you can't bet against McDavid or Draisaitl, and with how hungry McDavid is, that's what really I love about him. Is you see these superstars, and sometimes, they get caught up in whether it's the money or whether it's their frustration with what's going on. He seems like a guy that's like, if there's a will, there's a way. He's gonna will this team along with Draisaitl to a Stanley Cup. So I'm not concerned with the Oilers, but I do think like 4 times for the Kings to get a crack at it. It's like something's got to give. But again, I'm not going to bet against the Oil. No chance.
Bob, the thing is I just don't like the big Swedish Viking being out on the defense, because he's the stabilizer, and obviously the doctor Darnell Nurse is a great defenseman in his own right, and Bush obviously does what he does on the power play. But man, missing that Viking back there, he just kills so many plays, as you know, and I'm hoping that he can get healthy enough by the second round if they do get through LA. But that's my one concern is missing him in about 25 to 27 minutes over there on that left side.
That's a completely, like, they did add Wallman, completely different type of
different player.
I do, it's funny because I'm going to go back to when the Blues won. How many cycle stoppers did they have? Right? Like, obviously, Bouwmeester could do it. Parayko could do it. Edmondson, right? Yes. And then Petro could do it. So that's 4 guys.
Yep. And then Bortuzzo, too. Bortuzzo could shut down a play, for sure.
Yeah, and he could also back it up if need be. And if you really pissed him off in practice, he could deal with that as well. But he's, they had – I think the game's evolved a little bit, and especially with Edmonton's set of forwards – you want to get the puck up the ice. So maybe, having a couple, like, we've seen a real change in hockey. Like, think about the Detroit Red Wings in 2018. That would have been the Dallas draft. And they take Philip Zadina and pass on Quinn Hughes. Right.
Yeah.
And like, I had to search you right now. Cale Makar is the best defenseman in the NHL. I think Quinn Hughes is the second best D in the league, a small, undersized D man. Look at the impact that Lane Hudson has had in Montreal. Clearly, he's going to win Rookie of the Year. And I just wonder if there's more opportunity today for smaller puck-moving defensemen, and maybe the game's played a little bit differently, even than it was 6 or 7 years ago. But when they don't call any penalties in games and it becomes a 5-on-5 game and you got to be able to stop cycles as the playoffs advance, then I'm going to move away from that, right? Like, but I do think for Edmonton's team, it's important for the D to get the puck up the ice. That said, Ekholm's got the second best plus minus in the NHL since the Oilers acquired him. The only guy that's better is Forsling in Florida. So It's a big loss, and he can contribute offensively. He's a good he's a good two-way defender. So no question, huge loss for the Oilers. And frankly, another part of the reason that, he really wasn't right from Edmonton had the best record in the NHL from November the 7th until the night of February 7th. They played Colorado at home. Ekholm was sick. He played through it. Colorado won that game. It was a one-goal game. But for 3 months, the Oilers had the best record in the league. And then Ekholm went off to the Four Nations faceoff and was never really completely right from when he came back. He battled through some illness, and then he had, some core issues. And now, we already know he's out for at least this series. It's a big loss. He's a big part of the team.
Yeah, and lastly, I don't want to keep you too long. I know you got to go to the rink over there in San Jose and check out practice, but the one guy that the Oilers could use right now, and it's a chin out of Windsor, Ontario, one of my favorite players of all time, in Zach Kassian. Now, I missed the sailboats running around just trying to decapitate anyone that he could. When I was on the ice with him, it would just be like shit in my pants. I'm like, if there's one guy I'm scared of on this ice surface right now, it's the guy that looks like he belongs in a biker gang outside of Calgary. So just any final closing remarks on Cass? He's still working with the organization. I love that guy. Talk about a guy with a great chin. It could throw both ways. Stuff.
Yeah, he was an interesting guy because he was a pretty good player. He skated through people. If you want to hurt a guy in hockey, you skate through him when you hit him, right?
Yep.
And not every player has the courage and conviction to do that. He was an absolute force in the OHL. I mean, he landed some of the biggest hits ever seen in junior history. Of course, won a Memorial Cup. All you need to know about Cass is he won a Memorial Cup playing with Taylor Hall. Taylor's in New Jersey. They're in a face-off, and Taylor's going to protect himself, and he got a Gordie Howe elbow in and landed one right in Cassian's face. And Kassian went down. He didn't even go down. He just kind of shook it off. Kind of like if we had a huge 230-pound St. Bernard dog on our acreage when I was a kid. We weren't farm kids. We were acreage kids. The farm kids were always tougher than the acreage kids. But I was the only boy in my family, so I ended up having to fight everybody, won some and lost some. And anyways, we had this huge St. Bernard dog, and our horses used to get out. And then I'd have to go chase after them, right, on the snowmobile. And my St. Bernard dog would be chasing after him. And the horses would hoof the St. Bernard dog in the face, right? And Aloysius, that was his name. He'd just shake it off and keep chasing. It didn't even fly. He was a tough dog. And Zach Kassian, when Taylor Hall elbowed him in the face, he just shook it off, hunted him down, grabbed him, and, got a couple shots in. And Taylor ended up getting amazing. I give Taylor credit. That's how Taylor's got to protect himself in that situation. And Cass came back at him. The first playoff year that the Oilers got in after the so-called decade of darkness, Game 2 against San Jose in Edmonton. Sharks won the first game. The Oilers were very new to this playoff thing. Zach Kassian landed two of the hardest hits you'll ever see. And one of them, I believe, was on Logan Couture. He was not too happy. And Kassian scored a shorty in Game 2. The Oilers won that game. And then he got the only goal in Game 3. Like, he played a big part of that playoff series victory. He had a couple double-digit goal seasons where he rode shotgun with McDavid and Draisaitl a bit, got himself paid. Good guy. He is now working for the Oilers organization in pro scouting, and he could be scary. And he's a bit like Corey Perry, you guys. Our fans hated Corey Perry, and they hated Zach Kassian because Zach elbowed anyways, he got suspended for a bunch of games because he got a shot in on Sam Gagner when Gagner was an Oiler. But when he came to Edmonton and jump-started his career, fans, they appreciated the unique skill set that Zach Kassian provided. And the same things happened this year with Corey Perry. Corey Perry for years was part of an Anaheim Ducks team that used to kick sand in the Oilers' face, and they had Getzlaff and all those guys. And now Corey Perry's in Edmonton at 39 years of age. He had 5 fights this year, and he scored 19 goals. Like, he's going to get another contract. And our fans at Edmonton love Corey Perry. So it shows you how a guy can go, like in wrestling. right? From a heel, what do they call him, to a baby face? Like in the market, that's kind of what occurred. And I didn't realize you were that big of a fan of Zach's, but he certainly did that during his tenure and is beloved in Edmonton. And Corey Perry's become the current edition of that right now.
You need nail guns like that to make it deep in the playoffs too. And also, speaking on Cassian, it's a testament to how good of a player, besides, taking guys' heads off and fighting guys, it's a testament to how good he is to keep up with McDavid and be able to play with him. It's like, not that they're the same player at all, but it reminds me of like guys like Kunitz, not to bring up Pittsburgh again, but I'm not even a Pittsburgh fan, but when Kunitz and Dupuis and guys like that would play with Crosby, it's like, dude, you got to be really good to keep up with the best in the world. So for Cassian I remember those years he had alongside McDavid, and yeah, he was an absolute force. So
yeah,
well, he scored even strength goals. It's hard to do, right? Like I'm looking at Fogle, and he's got back-to-back 20-goal seasons. He never plays in a power play. Like a guy's got to get credit for that. It's hard to do. And Cassian was not on the Oilers' first unit power play, and I think he had like 15 and 14 even strength goals in back-to-back seasons. So, and he provided toughness and character. I mean, Kunitz and those guys, Dupuis, they did it a little bit differently, just because they're smart, right? And they're smart. And I think Zach didn't get credit for being as smart of a player as he is, because you got to be able to read and react on the ice.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, even we were up there last year, Staff, for the Stanley Cup Final Game 3, and after the game, I went and saw Cass and a couple other, pretty prominent NHL players or retired guys. I'm not going to name drop who they were, but a couple of them being borderline Hall of Famers, not a big deal. But the respect and just the aura Cassian had in the public eye compared to these guys was insane. Like Cassian, I thought I was rolling in with Mick Jagger. Like the seas parted for Zach Cassian when he walked around that town into, say, a Cactus Club, or even just in and around the JW Marriott over there. It was crazy. It was the respect, and just like he had like 50 guys just following him. And if they looked at him the wrong way and he said, "Hey buddy, back off," they did, because they were scared shitless of him. So what I'm saying is I've never seen just a nail gun like that have such A-list status up there.
Oh, no. He was like the Oilers fans. I still have George Laraque on my show once in a while, right? Like I've done a show for the last 16 years called Oilers Lunch / Oilers Now, 2 hours a day for 49 out of 52 weeks of the year. And George is an Edmonton sporting icon. Like he was as tough as. It's funny with George. He was probably the best fighter in the league for a number of years, but he's such a nice guy that I don't think he really wanted to intimidate the Rats much. But Cass kind of gave the Rats, he didn't have a problem with. That's what made Dave Brown a cold-blooded assassin. Like if you were Thomas Sandstrom and you were doing cheap stuff on the ice and you wouldn't drop your gloves, he would cross-check you in the face. And it obviously was a different time back then. I'm not condoning that today. But sometimes you have to send a message. And certainly Cassian, I mean, Darnell Nurse, the Oilers need, with Ekholm out, they need Nurse playing 25 minutes a game. But Darnell a couple times has had to remember, Roman Polak getting some, taking advantage of one of the Oilers players, and Nurse said enough was enough and grabbed him and just beat the wheels off him, right? You need that a bit. That's why physicality is always going to be a part of hockey. You got to have a little bit of it. The Oilers, you could like McDavid and Draisaitl don't take any crap as forwards, when they're on the ice. And you add Kane and Frederick to those two guys that being healthy, and it's a different dynamic. That's why it's going to be interesting as this Oilers LA series goes on.
Bob, we'll let you go, man, but this has been awesome. You came prepared is what I love about you. You had the stat pack going. You probably just have it right off the top of your chin in terms of all the analytics, everything. You're a true pro. You're a true fucking pro, and you are a historian, so don't sell yourself short here, my friend. I'm looking forward to this series. We'll be in touch. Thanks for popping on, though, man. Appreciate it. You didn't have to do this, making time for us in the morning. Especially on a Friday. So thanks a lot, man. We really do appreciate it.
Yeah, Bob, thank you. Your insight is incredible. And it means a lot for you to come on here.
Anytime you're stuck and can't get somebody out of better out of Edmonton, you give me a call. Okay?
Yeah, we will. And say hi to Stetch today for me, would you? He's a good chin.
He's an awesome guy. All right, fellas. Yeah. Take care. See ya.
All right.
All right, you too.
Appreciate you, Bob.
See ya.
The insight from Bob Stauffer, it doesn't get any better than that. Just the way that he can spin it off the top, like just a true professional.
He had 9 stories going at one time, and it all made sense. It was 7 different kinds of smoke, and the best part about all the Canadian, the beat writers, the media guys, and especially a true pro like him in Edmonton, is he knows every single nuance of his team and every little in and out stat, what they've been doing. Like the stat about McDavid and Draisaitl was crazy. Just pulled it off the top of his head. He's like, you know how many games McDavid missed? 15. You know how many of those Leon played? 9 of them. You know what their record was? 7-2. You know how many points he had? 16. He had 8 and 8. It's like, how does he just remember all of that? Like, I know it should be basic knowledge maybe to him, but you really can see his detail and how much he prepares. And that's why he's a professional. And that's why he's working for one of the best organizations in all of sports.
I mean, it's kind of like goes back to Sam Rosen last night. Like, you realize this guy has been in the Rangers organization for like 3 decades. You have to be so goddamn good to not just make it to that level, but to stick around. Like, there's a reason why he's been with the organization for, 19 years, he said? 17 years? But their whole squad up there, it's just like, dude, you have to be good. You got to be a good guy. Sometimes, douchebags will get stuck in roles and somehow they can't get fired. Look at the Buffalo Sabres. But it's like, to be that good for that long, you can tell. I mean, I looked down at the clock. We're an hour in. It felt like 10 minutes. Because I'm just like so dialed in. Like, this guy's a true professional. And it's always cool to talk to people that know what the fuck they're talking about. You know what I mean? It's like a breath of fresh air from talking to like a fan that's like biased or whatever. Just they don't really know what they're saying. They're regurgitating what they saw on NHL Network. That guy's dialed in. He knows what he's doing. And really cool for him to come on, actually, because we are the #1 hockey podcast. But a lot of times people are just like, oh, those guys, they fucking, they talk about this, they talk about that, they say cuss words. So it's cool for him to give us the time of day, actually.
Yeah, and especially in that industry, when you're at the top of any profession, and whether it's you're a player, you're a media guy, you're a general manager, you're a coach, or even just in walks of life, CEO, a manager, like most of the time, they're trying to use every excuse or something on you to fire you. To stay at the top that long, and he's still buzzing, man, like a no vacancy sign. Like he was on top of it. He was seeing the ball, and a true legend. And it just like I just love his aura. I love it. Like that's a guy I want to sit at the bar with on the south side of Edmonton and hammer 15 kokanees with.
That's what I was telling him, because I used to tweet pictures of him. Yeah. I used to tell him, or I used to tweet pictures about him, but I wasn't making fun of him. Not that he gives a shit if I would ever make fun of him, but like his aura, his pictures when he's walking on the plane, he looks like an absolute boss. Like he looks straight out of The Sopranos.
Yep.
And his stage presence, like that's a real thing. Stage presence and like how you appear on camera. Like he's just a fucking legend. We have a really important tennis match and then a meeting to get to.
Yeah, I was gonna say, should we play after the meeting maybe?
I mean, it's 9:40. We can get out there by 10, play to 11:30 and go. Shower up quick and go.
I just didn't bring any of my shower gitch. But
oh, you didn't?
No.
Oh, you got to go back?
Well, I just was in a little bit of a.
You're in a pinch.
I was in a pinch.
Or we can end it. We could take a couple questions, end it now, and try to get it in. I mean, we're basically we'll say our business on the air because this is a hockey show. We're going to a meeting about a sponsorship. I think it might be cooler if we show up late.
We could, or we could. Or do you have something after, or do you want to?
I'll play after. It's just how hot. Oh, it's not even gonna be hot.
It's not even gonna be hot today. It's pretty.
Yeah, fuck it. You want to just play after?
Yeah, I was thinking maybe just after, just so we don't have to rush it.
Yeah, cool. I'm.
But because I wanted to still tell he's a guy that just sits down and he sits down probably on his old Dell or Macintosh, like from 2014, like not an Air, and he just sets his nuts right on the just puts his nuts right on the keyboard.
Wait, who does?
Staff. Like he's just like, I'm here.
But you think he has his balls out on the
yeah,
keyboard?
like not that you can see his balls, but he's like he plays with his balls.
That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah,
that would be cool. That's an alpha man move.
Yeah,
that's Edmonton.
We almost went to jail yesterday.
Yeah, I forgot about that. I just want to answer this real quick. We'll get to questions, but I got this Flyers pullover by Keith Jones. Actually, he saw my tweet about Jonesy and Edzo or something like that, and one of his guys sent me a package of tons of Flyers gear, and then Keith Jones also has a beer. Sent me that, it was like $500 worth of shit, maybe more, of Flyers Gitch. So that was really nice of them. Shout out to Keith Jones and his boy for sending me. I don't know if it's his boy, it's somebody in the organization sent me a care package. So that was very nice. But yeah, yesterday we pull up to Medieval Times. I didn't know it was against the law to tailgate Medieval Times, but apparently it is.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen people tailgating all the time over there. My dad actually texted me. He goes, "What was that Medieval Times shit?" I go, "Yeah, we tailgated it." He's like, "What?" He's like, "How'd you guys even think of doing that?" I'm like, "Because we're the #1 hockey podcast and hockey show in the world. What do you mean? You're talking to a couple of guys that are basically glorified screenwriters and producers, but
I am
yeah,
writing a movie, so yeah.
yeah, it was crazy, man. I mean, who knew you couldn't show up to a place where the average age of a fan walking in is somewhere between 12 and 64, and you couldn't tailgate that fucking thing? Like, I never knew. I mean, thank God we didn't actually. Well, we won't give away too much of it, but yeah, like we were almost we were. I mean, if we would have had open containers because we had just gotten there,
Yeah.
we might have went to jail.
Well, that's the thing about the reservation police is that they're different than Scottsdale police. So when the res sees a couple white boys dressed as RuneScape characters,
Yep.
they like automatically they're sniffing around to lock us up for sure. Luckily, that cop was cool. The one guy that was the Medieval Times like general manager,
Yep.
he was like kind of condescending. I didn't like his fucking attitude when he walked up to us. He was like, "You think the cops are gonna like to see this?"
Yeah.
Like what? Couple dudes playing beer pong? Like you fucking homo.
Yeah,
No
we're-
disrespect to the LBQ community. But you know what really pissed me off? That woman.
Yeah.
She was lurking around. She's probably the one that called the cops on us, not saying anything. She was a full-blown Karen, obviously a white lady, fat, doesn't have sex, just a full combination to be a crazy old white lady. And but here's the thing, Swish, we're gonna get that video out anyway. And that's coming, no matter if they try to lock us up or not.
Yeah, well, we were able to, create a storyline, and we're just gonna have it raw and real for the people. But yeah, I actually got a stare off with that lady, that Karen. The thing is like she saw us in our costumes, and yeah, it's not Halloween, and yeah, we might look like a couple freaks, but catch me out tonight. I bet you want to whack me.
I bet she
Fuck
would. And
you.
also, how are we weird for wearing Medieval Times costumes in the parking lot when there's a full production going on imitating the 1500s inside?
Right.
Oh, that's not weird?
That's not weird? Just because they're getting paid $14 an hour and we're doing this for free? What do you mean?
We're actually on par with what this is all about. This is about celebrating tradition of jousting, horse riding, fucking having a wife, being misogynistic. Like that's what the Medieval Times were all about. And we're out here celebrating that, and we're getting interrogated, and like it is what it is.
I mean, I watched Gladiator 2 nights ago. You don't think I know everything about the Medieval Times? I've been to medieval times before. It's not that great. Our production outside was way better.
Way better. It's not even close.
And the sword fight that we got into, wait till you see this.
Yeah.
This was like, it might have to be a trilogy because how many bouts we went.
Yeah, you guys will see the video. We're going to get that video out for sure. But yeah, just a shame to shut that down because that was a good time. We had the dog. I don't know if people noticed this in the picture. We had a grill with hot dogs going.
Yeah.
We had dogs. We had ketchup, mustard, fireball, beer, sword fighting.
Yeah, it was a real production, man.
Yeah. So
that was like one of the better tailgates I've been to. Like I've been to a few, and like obviously Miller Park rings a bell. Green Bay, Lambeau's Field, a couple in Minnesota here and there for Vikings games. But yeah, man, like. That was like I don't know why they should normalize that shit at medieval time. Maybe like we sparked something in the people that were coming to the show's brains of like, damn, we could actually make this a thing. Like we should tailgate this shit.
Why don't people tailgate Medieval Times? I even peed outside. That's a big part of tailgating is pissing outside.
Yeah, just pulling your pants down and having your horn flap in the wind.
Wrench in the wind.
Yeah, that's one of the better feelings in the world is wrench against the wind.
The one thing too is that we set up that tailgate and everybody that drove by had the biggest smile on their face. So look at these guys tailgating Medieval Times. These guys are absolute beauties. They're two great looking dudes that probably get a lot of pussy, and they shut us down. So I think if anybody else started tailgating Medieval Times, we for sure started that.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, did you see the people that were ear to ear smiling when they saw us? And they actually were like a group of probably like 45-year-olds in a Tesla. Imagine Ubering to Medieval Times As a
kinda sick.
45-year-old, like where did you get drunk at before this? Texas Roadhouse?
Probably the casino.
That's pretty sweet. Yeah, because you get drunk and then you see the medieval times. You're like, damn, I want to go to a show.
How did the Indians must be getting a cut of that? How
Oh,
did
for sure.
because like
Well,
how
they had to
did
buy the land off them, and then
medieval times?
yeah. And then,
No, but the Indians own the land. They're leasing it.
oh yeah,
Probably.
they are probably leasing it. Damn,
Like-
they're probably charging a pretty penny.
Mm,
There's so much land, so much native land right off the 101 on either side. You know what I was thinking too is how funny is it when you're rolling down Scottsdale Road? And for people that don't know what Scottsdale Road is, it's basically just it runs from north to south, from all the way to Tempe, where Bob Gucci went at ASU, all the way up to Cave Creek. Like it's like a 45-mile road. The funniest thing about Scottsdale Road is it's just a complete dick measuring contest. Like I tweeted about it, or I sent out on Instagram like maybe a week ago, but it's like the guy driving the Lambo, and then you got a guy like that's like dude, you're driving a Corvette. Like, how poor are you?
yeah.
You know what I mean? And then you got a guy driving like an Aston Martin, then you got a guy driving a Maserati. Like, it's just such a I think dudes literally just drive north and south just to show off their sports cars. It's kind of sick. Like, it's almost like a car show in its sense. Like, it's almost like what's the car show here?
Fuck. Oh, it's at the tip of my goddamn
Barrett
tongue. Barrett Jackson. Barrett Hayton.
Barrett Hayton Jackson. It's basically that, just on an everyday occurrence. It's like, who can have the sickest car driving down this road? And then, like, if you get one upped, you go home, you park your car at the garage, and you grab a different one. And then if that one's not sick enough and you don't get enough looks from chicks, I go grab a different one. Like, it's like I got my 68 Bronco, I got my Ferrari, I got my Lambo. Oh, maybe the G-Wagon is going to be the pussy grabber today.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the premier places to flex your cars, for sure.
Has
it's
to
like
be, right?
that.
Rodeo Drive.
Global ambassador. Well, in Arizona.
Oh, it was Arizona.
Global Ambassador parking lot, Bikini Beans, and North Scottsdale Road. Bikini Beans is actually on North Scottsdale Road.
Yeah.
But the funny thing about Scottsdale Road is that it goes really, really shitty, gets nice again, gets shitty, and then gets nice again. So it's like you go through waves of like Porsches and Bentleys and Rolls Royces, and then you get to the Ultimas and the Camrys, and then you go back to the whatever. But yeah, dudes, especially in the weekend mornings, you ever drive up that road in the weekends in the mornings?
Oh yeah.
Like they pull off to the side and they have these big car shows, and it's called Cars and Coffee. They're all over the place. And dudes just pull up with their cars and see who has the bigger ranch. That is like a big part of being a dude in Scottsdale when you're divorced.
Yeah, it's cool, man, because it's just another way to just feed your ego. Like, it's pretty cool. And then the cool thing too is when you go to places just to valet your car. So you'll go to Global, or you'll go to, say, like a La Grande Orange, and for people listening, they don't know what these places are, but they're like little cafes and places where they require valet, even though you could just like park right across the street for free. And I really truly think that some guys, they'll just, because there's a lot of people sitting on the patio, right? So when you pull up to that valet and you have that car that's just leased, but it's really expensive, and you're paying probably $12,000 a month just to lease it, and you park that thing, and then you go grab an Americano, and you only drink about maybe a third of it, and you just sit there on the patio, and you just see who's looking at that car, and then you go talk to those girls. Like, it's such an easy way to maybe get a makeout that day.
Chicks definitely like cars, for sure. Like, I'd almost say it's worth it to live beyond your means and get a expensive car that you can't afford, because it actually does help.
Yeah. Well, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, just buy $150,000 car, but only put down $1,000.
I mean, get 66-month payment plan.
Yes.
Interest rate's going to be like 9% these days, probably higher. Who cares?
Well, on a 66-month lease or a payment plan, man, yeah, put $2,000 down, and then interest rates will be at about 19%. And then by the time you really pay off that car, well, you're already bankrupt. So then the bank just takes it anyways, and it's a win-win, man.
But you're getting pussy, and there's like
you're getting what you want out of the vehicle back in return in real life dollar.
There's certain objects that girls actually like, cars and a nice jacket. If you're a dude, and I'm not saying I'm a connoisseur of the coochie, but women appreciate a dude that's wearing like a really expensive jacket for some reason.
Yeah.
And you could wear like a cheap ass t-shirt under it from H&M or whatever the fuck. It doesn't matter. But if you have like a nice like Montclair jacket or a Canadian Goose or like a fucking, I don't even know, like just a nice jacket.
Prada or Gucci,
Prada,
anything that just
Tom Ford,
anything that just looks expensive or says, more importantly, says it's expensive.
Yeah, for the jacket. Like the ladies love that. Cars and jackets.
Get that brand recognition right on there, just because that's going to get you in the door, man. Because it's all about being materialistic.
But you can't go too. You can't go too flashy because it's not like you're a dude from Dubai.
No, you can't go Louis Vuitton Don. But if you have that one article,
unless you're black,
have that one article of a $3,000 jacket.
Yeah, so it's subtle, but not too. It's subtle, but they know it's expensive. There's a in the middle.
Just distract them. Because life about being a dude is just all about distraction.
What do you mean? Like elaborate?
Yeah, because like you just need to distract them that there's no other options out there.
Okay.
So because you're gonna have just a run hypothetically with anyone, your wife, your girlfriend, like you have to just distract them to a point where you can keep their attention. So a jacket, a car, a really nice house that they can live in. They're thinking temporary. You're thinking it might be their forever home. So it's all these things of what they can get out of you. And so you just got to keep distracting them. Get them a dog.
Yeah.
Get them a car.
Because eventually they're going to find a richer guy.
Right.
That's the problem.
Put them up at the 5 Diamond 4 Seasons and Key Biscayne.
Oh, there's always a guy with a boat. And you're like, really? Like she's with that guy now? Like that guy's a fucking pickle.
Right.
But it doesn't matter if he's a pickle because he has a boat.
Right. Like he's not even cool, but.
No, he's not cool. Most guys with boats aren't cool.
Yeah, but he's got his tax bracket is different.
I know.
Because she knows she doesn't have to whack him or talk to him. Like I'm basically just using you. Like you're my U.S. bank.
Okay.
Like you're just, I'm just funneling. I'm your ATM.
Yeah. I wonder if like other like people that are listening, where are you guys from? Say us in the chat. They don't understand though, because unless you're around it in like Scottsdale, you don't. Even I didn't understand until I moved here. Till I saw, remember at Houston's, we saw that girl. And listen, having a sugar daddy, that's not like anything new, but seeing it all the time is like, come on, dude.
Yeah.
Like, give me a break. Like, can I get some pussy?
Yeah.
Like, how come all you old guys, like, go somewhere else? Like, give me at least one weekend.
Yeah, dude. You know what? It's crazy. And I've seen you talk about it a little bit. Like, and we've talked about it together, obviously. But it seems now more than ever, and maybe we're just oblivious to it, and we're getting to an age of we kind of recognize different things and we're more aware of what's going on. But like dudes that are divorced and have money with kids, like I think there's no better time to go get yourself a 25 to 30-year-old chick. Like these, I just saw another day a very attractive lady that's around our age. I actually met her in Charleston a couple years back. She's now with a guy that's probably 42, probably a ton of money, but like they were just at Disney World with his 2 kids. Like, is that what like chicks want?
Yeah,
like,
they want stability.
But they just hop into a family like that?
Yeah.
Really?
They want stability.
Why? Just because for money? For what's
money
the other reason?
Talks.
Right?
Money talks. I don't know if we're getting older and we're realizing it either, but they definitely want, like, they don't want to look at the price on the menu. Like, they don't want jobs.
Yeah.
I don't blame them. If I was a chick, I would be I would have the coolest sugar daddy.
Yeah.
He'd be like, you don't have to bang me. I'd be like, no, I'll bang you. I'd be banging him.
Damn.
No Diddy on that. I like how you dropped a no Diddy and
on Stauffer.
Stauffer.
Yeah, he just texted me. He goes, I didn't know what to call Rob. Was it Heat Daddy or Rob or Bob? LOL.
Oh no, it's all good.
Yeah,
I'm just fucking happy. I just whenever we have guys like that on the show, I just try to not say something fucking retarded. I just literally turn. It's like when I'm around families.
Yeah,
so I'm not used to having like a functional family. So whenever I'm around a functional family, I just literally shut the fuck up. Like I just don't say anything. Just try to stay behaved. That's the way I act when we have those figures on the show, because I don't want to like jeopardize their job. Like, and then somebody's like, oh, why'd you go on this show? You have the fucking guy in the stupid hat and the Flyers jersey talking about how his grandpa's racist. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I just try to behave. But shout out to Bob, man. What an absolute beauty.
You read the room.
Yeah, I mean, I read the room. If people that know me know that I'm smart enough to at least read the goddamn room.
You can read.
Not to pump my own tires here. But we got Calgary in the building, Ottawa in the building. Swiss, what were the Blues versus Hawks game like back in the day?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't get like the real tail end of the dynasty. I remember my first year, 2016. That was the year that Troy Brouwer scored the game winner in Game 7, I believe. That's a lot of years ago. But yeah, that I remember watching that game in the press box. I was a healthy scratcher, black ace at the time. So we were just like young kids, 21 years old, like just taking it all in. I'm like, what is going on here? And then, the following years, it kind of dwindled a little bit in terms of the squad. They had that one year, I think it was 2017, 2018, where they won the President's Cup. My brother was actually on that team. Then they lost in Nashville in the first round, and they completely blew it up. But Panarin was obviously nasty. Kaner, sick. I mean, Duncan Keith, one of my favorite defensemen of all time, just the way he could just cut on a dime. That was the team that I always grew up watching, though, man. Like, I didn't really watch the NHL until I would say 2010, just because I was a kid from Wisconsin and I would watch college hockey. We didn't really have an NHL team. The times we did get to go to games growing up, the Hawks were so bad. So my just overall knowledge of NHL hockey wasn't great. And even, checking into Minnesota Wild games, like that was back in the day when they were just fucking so boring to watch. It was like Jacques Lemaire playing a 1-4 trap. So I didn't watch a ton of NHL growing up until I was probably like 15. And that's when I really started watching the game and studying, just the greats of Chicago. But Patty Kane, man, like that's my guy. That's my hero.
I didn't even start playing ice hockey until I was like 13, 14, which is insane. I played on the pond. I fell through a pond. I've said it on other podcasts, but I fell right through a pond. It's like people's biggest nightmare.
Yeah.
Started cracking the puck. I don't know if anyone fucking cares about this story. I could just shut the fuck up. But yeah, JT44 Productions, you're absolutely right. Old dudes do spend money on hot chicks in Vegas. That is for sure.
Yeah, I mean, that's a tale as old as time.
And one day you're going to be there too. We're all going to be there. We're all going to be dyeing our hair and paying for young women. I'm not gonna be doing that.
I mean, dyeing her hair. Like I would dye my hair. I would fucking
I don't know if
get a Turkish job. Like I would do anything, man.
I would get my hairline fixed, but I don't know if I would dye my hair. Like if I go gray, I'll rock it, but I'd definitely get my hair. Yeah.
Like even if you're like 45.
Because bro, you got to keep dyeing it over and over. Like if you fix your hairline, it's just like you're good.
Yeah, but like you don't want to be like salt and pepper, like straight silver fox when you're under 50 years old, dude. Like especially you get some money, you could have a dye guy coming over once a week, man. You could be tidying that shit up. I think I would dye it until I was like considered legally a senior citizen, so probably like 55 or 60.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I would, man, just because you never know. I mean, like who knows? Like, I mean, it's one thing if you got like a family and your wife, but you still want to look good for her too, especially if she's a little bit younger. Or,
yeah,
I don't know.
I actually made a promise to myself when I have a wife, like I'm not gonna let myself go. Like I'm actually gonna keep it tight for my mom. For my mom, I almost just said that.
Well, you hope she's hot, right?
For my wife,
So then it kind of gives you.
My wife's definitely gonna be hot.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, like, just generalizing, right?
Like, do you think your wife? Do you think there's a little chance that like your wife's like a 6?
No.
Wait, what's your wife gonna be? Like a solid 10?
I don't know. It depends because you got to trade because you don't want to get stuck in crazy hot. Crazy hot.
That's what I'm saying. That's what scares me.
That's love hard, fuck hard, dies fast.
Yeah, but everything else sucks.
Tweet that quote, by the way, anyone. Yeah, everything else sucks, but the mitt can strap you in, and it's like a Venus flytrap. Right in you.
I don't even know if I want a wife. That's a 10.
Like a Cleveland 10, man. So that's like a real world like 8, 9, like something like that. Like I would be down for that. Like an unbelievable personality, can snap it around. And she's gonna have to be able to put up with a lot.
You're preaching to the choir.
I'm not changing. I'll tidy it up a bit, but I'm gonna say whatever I want.
My wife's gonna.
I'm hard to love.
My wife's gonna go back and be like, "How come on episode of 49 of Hockey Night in Scottsdale you were talking about that girl's ass?" I'm like, "I don't know, cause a fat ass, bitch,
right in front of me."
Yeah.
What do you mean? You see
fuck
Birkin bags, Louis They're right in front of you too.
Yeah, your closet looks like a Louis Vuitton, but stop bothering me.
I see ass.
I like ass. I like titties. I wish my wife. I hope my wife's like a fucking like a hard 8
Yeah.
with like a good personality, like really bad temper.
Yeah.
Fucking good personality, but like I wouldn't mind a bad temper. Sometimes I like that.
Really? Yeah, that's
Latina.
Yeah, bad temper I couldn't do. I'm too even keel.
I could do.
That would drive me nuts.
Yeah, but only sometimes though.
Yeah, but like what's that? A couple times a week? Fuck, I'd be like, get out of here. Get off my chin.
You know, I definitely won't be doing, which not a lot of my friends, I don't even have that many friends, but a wife that has my balls in her pocket. Like, you're not going on guys' trips. Get fucked.
Yeah. Or
I can't believe that exists, dude.
Yeah. Or like the gal that like every day you leave the house, do you have your wallet? Do you have your keys? Why are you wearing that? That doesn't match with that. What you're seriously gonna wear those shoes? How about the shoes that I just bought you yesterday at DFW? Like, if I had that, I would say pack your shit right now, or I would just leave.
Yeah, you definitely married a chick, like a white chick from like Connecticut.
Oh my god.
That sounds like a white, annoying
like the
Connecticut
checklist
girl.
before you go and leave for the day, it would drive me fucking insane. Or the person that when you sit down at the dinner table and like you have to check like 3 really important emails and then like a question about your fantasy league with your boys in a group chat and then like how everyone's miserable in another one. And she's like, can you just put your phone down just for 1 second and we can catch up on our day? Motherfucker, I don't give a shit about what your day is. Like, chill out. We'll just talk. Like, we don't have to go through this fucking fake ass bullshit.
I think nagging was more of like a 90s thing, though. I don't think they nag anymore.
They do, man.
They do? I think
100%.
like nagging was like I thought that was a fad.
No, nagging's coming back, but why should you have to answer all these questions about like how your day was? My day was fucking hard. It's horrible, but I'm here now and I'm gonna get stoned. It's gonna be really good in about 36 minutes.
I don't think but now everyone's just scrolling on their phone. When there were no phones, you basically had to look at your wife and just be like, how was your day? How was your day? But now it's like they're just on TikTok.
But I think a lot of people are now realizing how bad that is for you. So it's like, put the phone down and let's have a conversation, which is good. But I want to, again, say I need to catch up on a couple of different things here, baby.
Babe, shut the fuck up for 5 seconds.
Right. But then now, oh my God, you're an asshole. Why was that? Why are you aggressive right now? Was everything okay? And then that, Bob, leads you down to another hole. And then when you freak out and say you are okay, then you're not okay. And then when you're not okay, you have to explain why you're okay at the level of you're going way over the top. It's just this.
That's not happening with me, bro. I don't bicker. I'm not bickering with my wife.
I'm not bickering either. But if you set this fucking volcano off, I'm dormant. But it's going to take a lot.
I'm not going to bicker. I don't care if you get mad at me and we'll make up. But I'm not doing that whole bicker thing. I've been around that my whole life. It's just not happening. And I know the type of chicks that do it. Dude, not to get personal on here, I definitely shouldn't say this, but for our shows, like I have friends that they just won't bring their girlfriends. And I'm like, why?
Yeah.
And it's not that I want your girlfriend to be here. Like we're not DMing each other. It's not like that. Like I don't want, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
I don't want your girl here for me. I'm just saying like, why can't your girl come to our show? And they'll be like, she'll be mad at me.
Yeah.
For what? For what? For something that we said?
That's crazy.
You picked the wrong chick. She's a huge cunt. Like, is that the only girl that you could whack? Like, what? It's none of my business. But how are you dealing with that?
Why have you changed completely who you are for a 5?
Yeah, dude. That's what I'm saying.
Like, I would look at that guy and be like, you're a fucking pussy, and you have no confidence.
If she doesn't want to go to the show, cool. That's dope. It's not for everybody. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that he's afraid.
Yeah.
It's actually multiple guys to bring their significant others to shows because they're going to find it funny. She's not. It's going to cause a problem between them, which is crazy. Okay, then you guys shouldn't be together.
Well, right. But it goes back to it's crazy what guys are willing to trade off just for some coochie.
This is a divorce podcast. I mean, that's what happens though. That like dudes get stuck.
But it's like, it's basically it's a whole game of trade.
It is, but most dudes get it wrong.
No, they do because they get so fixated.
Yeah.
And they have no confidence.
Dude, for example, this would never happen to you because you have a good chin on your shoulders. But if you were with a girl that was like a huge bitch, and I would literally tell you, like, bro, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
And have that conversation chin to chin. There's certain friends that you just can't do that with because they take it way too personal.
Yep.
And it's not like I'm not trying to shit on your girl. Yes, she's a 5 and she has a horrible personality and she's a little fat, but that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that you guys just aren't compatible. And I want to look out for you.
This is completely for you, man. Like, you right now, you can't see it because you have the blinders on. Like, you're coming down the wall with the puck on your stick, and you have a 2-on-1, maybe a 3-on-1, but you're not even looking. You didn't even take a look to the middle of the ice. You're so fixated on getting that shot on that goalie. That goalie is that girl, and you're just anything you can do to score on her. Meanwhile, you could have used your teammates. You could have made life easier on yourself. You could have made a play when you have this right here has no chance of working. So it's the blinders are real, man. And it's, I don't know. I mean, we're just a couple assholes over here that are, far from a marriage at this point. But it's like, dude, you see some of these guys, you're just like, Jesus, dude.
Or it's like what I'm doing is like, sometimes there'll be a ref in the game and he'll go heads up, and he'll try to help a player out that's about to get bundied.
Yep.
I'm trying to be that ref
Yeah.
for you right now. I'm trying to help you out. Like, I get it. Like, she has a mean gummer. I totally get it. But it's like, bro, this is not going to work out. I've only said that to a couple guys before.
You're trying to be the Tim Peel of the situation.
I'm trying to help you, dude.
Yeah.
But they don't see it, and they'll see it in the end. That's the problem. That's what gets you. You just got to like stick your boots in the mud and stick to your guns, because they're not going to like you in the moment.
No.
But when they finally do get served papers and she's divorcing them and taking half their shit,
yep,
they're going to be like, you're right. And this isn't about me and like satisfying that I'm right, but it just goes to show that it wasn't personal this whole time between you and your ugly girlfriend. I was always trying to help you out and look out for you.
Yeah, like when you have to pack up and leave because this chick you can't stand anymore. Now you're shaking my hand and we're having a beer.
Yeah. Or now
you just left the state.
Yeah.
You're out of here. You're like OJ.
Yeah, dude. I don't know. Relationships are crazy, especially these days. It's so much different. Like that Theo pod you told me to watch. They were talking about how like the average age a dude has a kid now is like 30 instead of 27. It's like, yeah, no shit, man. Like everything's different. Everything is so much different. Even like
it's all backed up.
We're in our 30s and I don't feel like that. I feel like I'm in my late 20s.
Yeah.
Because when you're a kid, you think the second you hit 30, you should have a house, a family, and all that. Nah, dude. Not with this economy.
No, it's way different now. I think everything and just like general lifestyle and the way you can. Not everyone takes care of themselves, but the way you can and just the science out there, like it should be backed up. Life expectancy is way higher than it's ever been. And that correlates with TikTok too. On the other hand, on the short end of it, it's like, why am I trying to get married when my Explore page is filled with women in Indonesia that I could maybe get a response from on a DM, and then we can meet up in Turkey? Like,
yeah, bro.
The fantasy, it's so fantasized now to the point of like your mind can't even grasp staying with one person. And I'm not trying to act like I'm a fucking playboy over here, but it's just it fills your mind with complete garbage, and that's why it goes back to just meet like a Cleveland 9.
I'm not worried about
have some just like, it's hard to meet like a decent human, man. Like it really is.
It's not about, for me, it's not about, this is a hockey show, but for me, it's not about me wanting to run around and get pussy. It's about like actually finding a good chin.
Yes.
It's so hard now. There's so many outside influences now. It's like she wants to fuck the mailman. Like the fucking guy pulls up a boat to the restaurant. It's a bigger boat than I have. He has a 175-foot yacht. Mine's only 150. It's like, and then little things like that. It's like this person that you knew is just gone. And by the way, speaking on age, I know a girl that turned 29 and she was like super bummed about it. I'm like, bro, 29 is the new 25. That's what I told her. Because it's true. I see 38-year-olds out at Fat Ox in Scottsdale. They're hot as fuck.
Yes.
They're not like almost, oh, look at that chick, she's 40. It's not like that anymore, bro.
No, it's weird. And that's the thing is like, I don't know. It's just people are weird, and it seems like it's almost just like this game, man. Like Instagram's fucked.
Dude, how pissed would you be? I feel like we can't even get girlfriends if we wanted to right now.
No.
Like, it just wouldn't work. Like, how pissed would you be if I'm like, yo, I'm like seeing this chick? It would like tank the business.
Well, I wouldn't be mad. I'd just be like, fuck, do you actually love her?
No.
And be like, yeah. I'm like, no, you don't. You're right. Then that would be the end of the conversation. Dude, it's hard because like, so, and even like right now where it's a nonprofit, like say this thing actually blows up, like
when it blows up,
it's like a lot of chicks won't even take us seriously right now. That's the real thing. And
oh,
then,
they're not.
no, they're not. They're not. Go date the finance guy. That's a safe play. He's got the safe salary. He's this, he's that. He has this status. Right now, we're the biggest underdogs in all of sports.
We are.
So that right now is what I'm saying is don't go get a girlfriend. Wait it out.
I would never get a girlfriend right now. It's
Yeah.
just I can't. It's
Right.
like I can't. The funny thing is that I definitely know of girls that like talk shit, and it's always the same shit with them. Oh, why don't you grow up? Why don't you grow? What does that even mean though?
Right.
Like I don't
Just
like,
get older. You want me to just get older?
You want me to just be in an office all day, like so you can have health care, and I'm making $150K a year. And yeah, don't get me wrong, that's a great salary.
It's great.
We could be happy on that, but I'm going to be really boring and really mad every day when I come home from work in my piss-stained khakis with a briefcase. Do you want that, or do you want a little bit of personality? It's like, oh, it always blows my mind when people are like, grow up. No, that's the whole point of life, is to not grow up.
Well, the thing is why are you telling me to grow up when
get in the kitchen, bitch? I'm just kidding.
Yeah, but like you're an outsider.
Just joking.
That has nothing to do with your life. You're not even really connected in a sense, if at all, is telling you to grow up. What does that do? Why? Because you're mad at what we're trying to do?
What does it even mean?
What does grow up? What does that even mean?
What does that mean?
I'm still going to try to act like a dipshit and be funny all the time.
But that's the whole point.
Right.
That's the whole point, is to have fun. What does grow up mean? I want to know what are you doing? Even when a dude says for you to grow up.
You're faking.
What are you doing?
What growing up is putting on a shield and faking everything you do in life.
Being grown up is pleasing everybody else. Like you want everybody else at the dinner table twice a year at your holiday to be like, oh, like that's so good that you have you have your dental care and your IRA, and oh, that's so good. Congratulations.
You're a fucking phony.
But you're doing it for everybody else. That's what growing up is.
You're a fucking phony. You're a fraud.
Growing up is your image for others.
Yes. And you're masking everything.
And you're gay.
You're a fucking huge pussy. And it's just this whole fake. This is a hockey show, but it's this whole fake facade persona you put on because you are so scared of the truth and being raw and real, and everything's going to offend you. This is a hockey show.
Yeah, dude. It's just like that. That one always gets me. It's just like, what do you mean by grow up? Like, what are you doing that's that cool? Someone in chat said that, Rob, you're a real estate guy. I officially hung up my license last July. I'm no longer doing it. My mom was so rattled, bro. Did I tell you about this?
No.
She was like, why'd you do that? I'm like, because I don't want to do it anymore. I don't like it. It's not fun. Speaking of growing up. And she's like, yeah, but you should have kept your real estate license active. Like now, if you're ever gonna reactivate it, you got to do all these tests. First of all, I know you got to pay a fee, you got to get rehired, you got to do this, your brokerage, blah, blah, blah. It's like, yeah, but I'm never gonna do that. Like I'm never gonna go back to doing that. Right. I hate it.
I have to trust my chin in what I'm doing right now.
Yeah. It's like, I've said it before, and I'm like being 100% serious. Like either it's going to work out for me doing this type of shit or whatever, I don't know, or I'm just going to go buy a tent and live under a bridge.
Yeah.
It is what it is. That's what it is.
That's a good song. Red Hot Chili Peppers, Under the Bridge.
Shout out to the Red Hot Chili Peppers. We're going to have them on the show next week.
Anthony Kiedis.
Cornbread bitch. We got to get her on the show. I was texting her yesterday. It's just, I feel bad because our schedules are like out of control. So it's hard to tell people.
Right. Because everything changes.
Like we
were supposed to drop Greg Powers today, and then Bob Stauffer pops in. We're just like,
oh, that just reminded me of something. Fuck.
I
was supposed to go on a podcast. I completely forgot.
Today?
Yeah.
What time? No?
I don't know, because it was supposed to be yesterday, and then we couldn't because we were doing medieval times. And then I just answered a DM. Oh, fuck. God damn it.
This is a hockey show going on another hockey show. But yeah, we had Bob Stauffer on, obviously, for the people that have stayed with us here for almost an hour and 40 minutes. This is always brought to you by Emmy Squared Pizza. Emmy Squared Pizza is your neighborhood joint to get a fucking pizza Detroit style and stuff your goddamn barrel accordingly. Emmy Squared, they're located in New York. They're located in Georgia, Florida, Tennessee, Virginia, New Jersey, maybe California. Yeah, they're all over the fucking place. So go check them out. And if you don't have it available in your state, well, you can get it over at goldbelly.com. Promo code CHIN gets you 25% off your pizza. Go check that out. Men's League sweaters are Kachina jerseys that we've given away. We're going to drop a video with Greg Powers at center ice at the iconic Mullet Arena on Sunday. Those jerseys are pretty cool. We've given away a few of them. They're available, and you can get them at Men's League Sweaters. Go check them out on Instagram, obviously online on the World Wide Web. If you have a men's league team, you guys take your team way too seriously. You're competing for a league championship. You're one of those guys that's like an accountant by day, and then you go high stick a guy in the face and try to fight him in the parking lot after. Well, you're probably a guy that would need a team issued jersey. And these team issued jerseys are really nice. They can help you out with the design process. They can help you put the whole package together, farm to table, if you will. Men's League sweaters, go check them out. And let's promote our own fucking brand while we're at it. HockeyNightScottsdale.shop. We just put out a new chin hat last Friday when we were live at Hooters. It's a beige as well as a little black brim on it, and it says chin. Those have been selling pretty good. We also have a This Is a Hockey Show shirt. A nice little design we did with the Just Dishin boys. Shout out to our guy, Matt Keeler.
Just Dishin.
Shout out to Matt Keeler and all those boys over there in Buffalo, right on the chin of Chippewa Street. But we dropped a hat and a new shirt. Those are on and available at HockeyNightScottsdale.shop for pre-sale right now. Go buy something on this Friday before you get drunk. Support the boys. This is a non-for-profit, so everything we do, we donate to an African village in Sudan, and that goes to, providing pairs of New Balance shoes from 1994. I'm just kidding on that front, but it does help us. We don't have any sponsors, so go check those out and buy a chin hat. The chin movement is real.
Also, guys, it helps a lot when you guys tweet at these places, like tweet at Emmy Squared or tag them on Instagram or tweet at Men's League Sweaters and say, I love the Hockey Night jerseys. That should help. Goes a long way. Also, for our audio listeners out there, there's a lot of audio listeners for some reason. Watch on YouTube. We're not that ugly. We're ugly, but we're not that ugly. Look at our faces. Rate the show. Give us whatever star you think. Rob, how much money do I need to spend on the merch store for you to get a Turkish fade? I don't know, like $1,000. Probably $1,000 in merch. I'll actually do it. I actually hope you don't, because I don't want to walk around with a fade. I'll look like the biggest lesbian. Grant checking in. Swish, you're gonna make me go broke on butter golf shop.
Really? They're $42, man. That's a quality hat. I don't know. I guess maybe are you shipping?
No, I think he means he's buying a lot.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Appreciate you supporting their fella.
Someone said, heads up, it's illegal to say you're a nonprofit if you aren't. Well,
that's why we said we're just kidding.
Well, Black Lives Matter fucking did it. They bought mansions and shit and fucking Aston Martins.
Yeah.
And they were a nonprofit, so I think we're all right. We're also the bad boys of hockey podcasting too. So, anyways, we're an hour 40 into it. This is our longest pod. Actually, no, I think Emmy Squared was longer.
Yeah, I think we went like 2 hours on that one, but we were also boozing.
Yeah, it's a lot easier to do the pod when you're boozing. It's just like booze is not that great for you. That's the problem.
Yeah,
and life's short.
Booze is tough. Dust is tough on the body.
Dust.
Playoffs tomorrow. Fuck, bad dust, eh?
Fuck.
What's the chat doing? Like, where are you guys at right now? What time is it? Fucking on the East Coast. It's 1:20, almost 1:30. People gotta be shit faced on the East Coast right now.
You want to predict the playoffs or no?
Yeah, we could. It's a hockey show.
I'll do a little bracket for you guys right now live.
Yeah. Let's get into it.
All right. Well, we have let's just go series by series here. Winnipeg, St. Louis. What do you think?
I got St. Louis in 7. I think St. Louis is going to go into the chin of Winnipeg. And listen, I love Vegas of the North. Shout out to Earls on Main. Shout out to the staff at Earls on Main. Shout out to everyone in the prairies. But I can't bet against JB Snow. That's Binnington. I like what they're doing. Bob Thomas, Jordan Kyrou. That defense is playing really well. I just, you know how I feel about the Blues, Bob. I got them in 7. I think Binner is daddy to Connor Hellebuck, and we saw that in the Four Nations. We saw it in the Central Division in the playoffs for a lot of years. I just think Winnipeg, they had a great regular season, but St. Louis in 7.
Yep. I'm going to go St. Louis in 6.
Wow. I love that.
I'm actually going to go crazy. And my reasoning is that last year, I went on. We were doing the alt cast,
Yep.
and I think it was like Colby Armstrong, Biz, and all those guys. And I told them Winnipeg is a really good team, and they're really boring, but they play really structured hockey. And what did they do? They shit the fucking bed. So now, since they made me look stupid in front of all 42 people that were watching that stream, I'm going to bet against them and go St. Louis. And also, I like Bennington too. Don't know him as well as you, obviously, but I think he's a really good guy, and I want him. I want to see him have success. Dallas and Colorado.
Colorado in 5. I think they're way too good. I think Dallas is banged up. Robertson with his knee injury. Miro Heiskanen going to be absent on the back end. I think Dallas, they've been, you know what Dallas has been doing? They've been going Chris Norman, Susie Quattro, like you at Mother's Kitchen in Buffalo, New York, stumbling in. And they're stumbling into the playoffs. They might be Tom Petty free falling into the playoffs. And I don't like where Dallas's game is. I don't think they can match the speed of all the guys on Colorado. Colorado in 5. I think they're going to get fucking tit waxed down in Dallas.
I'm going to take Dallas.
Wow.
And I'm going to tell you why.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Nah, fuck Tyler Seguin. I'm going Colorado. I was going to say that Colorado's fans have been pissing me off recently, and I don't want to see them win.
Yep.
But you know what? I was also going to say Dallas because I like that girl that sits behind the bench with those huge titties. Let's get her on the show, by the way. She follows me. I'll DM her.
Yeah, we should
I'll
get her
DM
on.
her tonight after a couple $26 old fashions.
Perfect.
Yeah, you know what? I don't like Tyler Seguin. Everyone knows that because he's a fucking douchebag. And I'm going to take Colorado in 4. It's going to be a clean sweep.
Love that. Yeah.
All
Get
right.
the brooms out.
Let's stick with the West before we go to the East. Vegas and Minnesota. I'll just start this one off real quick. Vegas in 4.
Yeah. Vegas in 5. Minnesota, book your bender, whether you're going to Cabo, Turks and Caicos, Tulum, Pinehurst number 2, whatever you guys are doing, just stay at home. The depth's not there. The defense is not there. They do have Zeev Buium coming into the lineup from Denver, who is a quality defenseman and a rising young star. But Minnesota, man, they just keep your shit packed.
Also, the Minnesota business model is they get into the playoffs, they give their fans hope, and then they lose. So that is a business model that the Minnesota Wild front office has established, and it's been that way for a long time. So they are not going to get by the Vegas Golden Knights. And we did have Bob Stauffer on the program. LA Kings and Edmonton. I am going to stay loyal to the oil. I'm going to say Edmonton in 6.
Yeah, I like that. I'm going Edmonton in 7. I think it's going to be a well-earned, hard-fought series. I think LA, anytime you play a team 4 times straight in the playoffs, you're going to have to earn it. And I think Edmonton's banged up, but eventually and ultimately the Stars will prevail. I got Edmonton in 7.
Let's take it over to the East after the Toronto, Ottawa, the Battle of Ontario. I tweeted the other day, like, oh, this is going to be a sneaky banger.
Yeah.
There was like 7 comments that were on, oh, sneaky? What do you mean sneaky? What I meant is like, when I think battle, I think big boy, fuck you, Western Conference hockey. So that's what I meant. Like, I meant it was going to be more physical than we think, but maybe I'm just wrong. That's going to be a really fun series to watch. I got to take Toronto, though. I really do.
Toronto in 6. I think 34-88. Those guys, they're too good. Brady Tkachuk, Nick Cousins, they're going to run around. They're going to take chins off. They're going to try to disrupt the game in terms of being physical, play after the whistle, and try to get Toronto and their stars off their game. But I do like their defense this year. I don't think they're a Stanley Cup winner, but they definitely will get through this first round. Brady Tkachuk's going to be bringing the criminal element. I just don't know who's going to match it. I think we might see Reeves this series. He's been down in the jungle, but if shit hits the fan and Ottawa's running around, I could see Chief Berube inserting Ryan Reeves back in the lineup just for a little added security.
Here's a question for you. Do you think that when do you think Toronto hits the panic button? If they lose in the first round, obviously everyone's going to panic.
Yep.
Let's say hypothetically they lose in the Eastern Conference Finals. Are you hitting the panic button on that core 4 yet?
Finals?
Yeah.
Nah. You got to knock on the door before you get into the door. Like, they've only got to the second round, man. They get to the conference finals. Okay, now we got a formula that could get there. I just worry about their goaltending a little bit. Stolars, Wool, we'll see.
Tampa, Florida. I'm gonna take Florida in. Honestly, man, I gotta go like Florida in 5.
No Matty Tkachuk. Barkov banged up. No
Tkachuk.
No Ekblad. I'm going Tampa Bay in 7.
Never mind.
Would
I'm
never
go
bet
Florida
again.
in 6.
Okay. Yeah, Coop. I can't bet against Coop. Legend.
The Coop Daddy. Washington, Montreal.
Montreal in 7. I think
Damn.
I think that's the one series that we could see a massive upset. Now, I did pick St. Louis over Winnipeg, but I just think, like, man, I think that Washington, they got to that OB to the number, and like that was their win for the season. Like, it's like, now we exhale and we kind of forget about playoffs. And I think Montreal could kind of come in there and just kind of sting them like, not a bee, but just like a
chlamydia a little bit.
Yeah, like a prostitute. Like you hit it quick and it just stings you. Bam! Now it stings down there. So
I like that. I'm gonna go Montreal too. All right, now the series that I just could not give 2 fucks about: Carolina and New Jersey. I don't even care.
Oh man, yeah. I mean,
cares?
you just hope people are snowing and snowboking. That's all I can say. That series is fucking atrocious. Who wants to watch the Carolina Hurricanes flip the puck 600 times a game out of their own end and rim it? Like, they play the worst brand of hockey I've ever seen.
It's so boring.
And then on the other side in New Jersey, like, listen, shout out to Snowboken, shout out to all the people in Jersey City, but fuck me. Like, that team without Jack Hughes, they're boring to watch. I mean, Chin Cotter, I like watching him, but
I love Paul Cotter.
fuck me. That series sucks. Like, that's bad for the league.
I won't even watch a second of that series, respectfully. I won't watch a single goddamn second of that.
No.
Because none of those teams are going to win. Somebody just said bad take. Which take are you talking about?
We've had a few.
Yeah, we've had a few bad takes in the history of the show, the #1 hockey show on the planet. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Guys, tell your friends, share the show. Tell them that it's strictly hockey, so don't bother listening if you don't want to listen about hockey. Make a bracket pool, fellas. Yeah, maybe we'll set one up. Hockey Night in Scottsdale bracket on the NHL app, I think. Who's your cup final? Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. I'm going to go with, I'm biased. I always pick Vegas because I'm a Vegas Knights fan, I guess. But I don't know, man.
Yeah. Colorado.
Yeah.
Not Florida.
I'm going to go Toronto.
Yeah, I like that. It's so early to tell, but I'm going to say Colorado and maybe I'm going to go Tampa.
I'm going to go Toronto and Vegas in the final. And someone said that Draisaitl, the most cold killer and German sniper. This isn't I don't know. Draisaitl, the most cold killer German sniper of all time. Well, if you're not counting the 1940s, yeah, he'll be up there. Montreal goaltending, question mark?
You got Montembeault. That guy's solid.
Montefiore. Caps are for sure winning the cup or against Montreal. I don't know, man. Still, I'm like not that big of a. Logan Thompson can get hot. I feel like they have a good roster. They have Protas, who's like 6'8" and can score 30, and you got Strome, and he loves to tuck it in, and it's like, I don't know. Montreal, though, they're hot right now.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's why you play the fucking game.
Yeah, you want to wrap this up?
Yeah.
All right, guys. That's been Hockey Night in Scottsdale. Our next piece of content is going to come out Sunday night. We sit down with Greg Powers on the ice at the iconic Mullet Arena and interview him. You guys are going to enjoy that. That'll be out Sunday night. After that, we're going to have a hockey video coming out. And then we're back on the stream next week, baby.
Yeah, and once this video drops...
Oh, yeah, I forgot to say that.
Go comment who you think is going to win the NHL Stanley Cup this year and why you think so. So comment who you think is going to win and who's going to be the MVP, the old Conn Smitty. And if you don't watch hockey, well, maybe it's the NBA. So we always like our non-hockey listeners in here too. So if you don't watch any hockey, you don't know any of the teams, maybe just send your NBA picks in or whatever fucking league you watch. But if you do watch hockey, this is a goddamn hockey show. Your winner for the cup and then the MVP underneath for the playoffs, not the regular season, so the Conn Smythe. So Friday, let's have a time. Bob Gucci might be going Chinese mode. Again, when this drops, go comment.
Comment on the video and make sure you're subscribed and also like the video. Sorry for asking for so many things out of you guys. We're out. Everybody have a great weekend. Stay safe out there. This was Hockey Night in Scottsdale. Thank you, Bob.